Rebel salute to everybody out there. This is Kenya Revolution, your political dietitian. I will give you some food for your strength for the day. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades for another day of Kenyan politics, or should I say politics. Today, we are going to I'm going to be brief because, as you know, Chelsea is playing Liverpool in a few hours, and I'm a Chelsea fan, and we're going to Anfield. So I am geared up. I'm ready. So this is going to be this is not going to be one of those long talks that I'm going to have. I'm just going to rant a little bit about what's going on in Kenya, especially with regards to our president, William Samoei Ruto, who apparently is in Italy right now. And there was reports like today that he actually turned down 151 billion, I think, or something like that, for another aid. But we are already in too deep. I just want to rant. You know, in a lot of platforms, whether it's in those syndicated columns, newspaper columns, or in these TV shows, there's always, whether it's Siasa Fiesta, Spice FM, all these radio shows, when they interview these politicians, you know, we kind of go in a circle, okay? This side blames the other, this other side blames the other, while we're trying to find solutions to the problems that we face. Some of the problems we face are, they kind of have to do with the law, people not following the law. We don't want to implement the constitution. Some of it is just impunity. Some of it is due to like incompetence. Some of it is just sheer negligence, okay? Pick and choose whichever one you want. But there's something I've been saying from after 1 month of William Ruto becoming the president. I told everyone that this is a colonial puppet. He is continuing to perpetuate the Western agenda. Is carrying on. But to be fair to him, I think he came in with good intentions. He wanted to do good things for Kenya, but he quickly realized that, hey, there's a boss that you have to listen to. There's rules of the game. If you're going to be the president of Kenya, you have to bow down to your colonial masters. So while I might blame Ruto to some extent, I think his hands are tied, and for a good reason. I just want to reiterate that because I read his tweet, and his tweet is telling. I will explain. Let me read you the tweet. Should I put it on the screen? Okay, let me put it on the screen so you know what I'm talking about. I don't just want to read things that you're wondering, hey, where are you coming up with this? I want to put it on the screen so you can read Ruto's tweets, and you can read it. You can go to his Twitter page and read it for yourself. This is a perfect example of why this man has bowed down to the IMF. He has no choice. I'll tell you why in a minute. I'm here. I'll explain all these things. So grab some popcorn, grab some hot meal, sit down, because I'm about to explain to you. I will explain to you why Kenya will not be liberated anytime soon, and I'll tell you the solution. You know, it's one thing for me to come here and talk to you about all these things that are going wrong and whatever, and not offer a solution, or just give you what is the way forward, okay? As Azimio friends yesterday met up and were in press conference, then they gave us all the laundry list of what's wrong with the country. Then they told us we will also talk about the way forward. Well, that's what we were waiting for. We don't want to hear about your next meeting or your next mandamano or your next whatever. We want to know what's the way forward. But for this purpose today, since you're listening to me, you're tuned in. Thank you very much. And make sure you subscribe, share, like, and comment. Since you're tuned in, I want you to understand the level of which the problems of which we are facing, the nature of it, where it stems from, where it's coming from, okay? Because it goes beyond just Azimio and Kenya Kwanza. Hi, Brother Benson. I see you there, my brother Benson. Guys, go look at his channel. That's my brother right there. It's a very good channel. So don't miss. He has wonderful guests there. One thing about Brother Benson, he's a fair-minded, very, very, he will listen to you. He has good patience. Okay, Diomana, his channel is doing good. He's been blessed, and I love his channel. I always love listening to the young people that he interviews. So If you're watching this channel, if you know anybody, if you have never heard of Brother Benson, I'm sure you have by now, Brother Benson Media, go up to his channel and subscribe, comment, and share, and follow him. That's a good man right there. Good man, good man, good man. Okay, so as I was saying, the problems that we face are way deeper than just Azimio versus Kenya Kwanza. This is deeper than we are being controlled by the West. So let me start with William Ruto's tweets, okay? Let me start with his tweets. Okay, let me go up here. So what did William Ruto tell us today? Let's go to it. William Samoei Ruto. All right, here's the tweet by William Ruto that he wrote today. Mko ready? Are you ready? Haya. Ndio hiyo inakuja. Ndio hiyo. All right, there it is. Okay, can you see the screen, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends and comrades? Okay, I'm sorry if you can't see the whole screen, but bear with me. Watch it on the television. You can watch it there. This is what William Ruto wrote. This is his latest tweet. He said, American technology company Oracle Corporation has announced it will set up a regional data center in Kenya. It will be the second such data center in Africa. Met Oracle delegation led by Senior Vice President OCI Product and Industries, Scott Twaddle. Present were ICT Cabinet Secretary Eliud Oalo and Principal Secretary John Tanui. Okay, and you can see the pictures and the Americans there sitting, looking pretty, looking at these Africans. We've got them. We've got a wonderful opportunity to take over Kenya. That is what they were looking for. So you see, my friends, you want me to read it? Let me just read it one more time for shits and giggles, okay? For shits and giggles, okay? William Ruto wrote, American technology company Oracle Corporation has announced it will set up a regional data center in Kenya. It will be a second such data center in Africa. Met Oracle delegation led by Senior Vice President OCI Product and Industries, Scott Twaddle. Present were ICT Cabinet Secretary Eliud Oalo and Principal Secretary John Tanui. Okay, enough of that. Remember, there's some times when I show you about this book. This is, after reading the Bible, read this book. Please read this book. Read it and understand it. We can read it together. I'll go line by line so we can read it together. This is how important this book. If you want to understand Kenya's problem, most of African problems, this book right here. The New Confession of an Economic Hitman, John Perkins. Okay, this is a man who worked for the World Bank, IMF. He was a CIA agent. And this guy explained how he actually structured loans to be given to countries like Kenya. And you know what they used to do? In those deals, he actually explained how they made deals with the president. In fact, some of them helped them win the presidency. Ding, 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 ding. Uhuru Kenyatta. Anyway, and he explains this, that once you take up these loans and they put you in deep debt that they know you cannot pay, because most of these debts are 30, 40, 10-year, 20-year loans, and they accrue interest, of course. And not only that, the presidents that they help come to power, they always make sure that they are corrupt, okay? Or they have something against them, okay? And in return, what does the World Bank do, or IMF? What do they do? These guys, they take control of some facets of your economy. Number one, they will make your president sign a law which allows Western companies to operate freely in your country. Number two, they will make your president to sign a deal which will give permission for these Western security forces and private security forces like Bancroft to operate freely in your country, Kenya. By the way, Kindiki, they're trying to pass a law right now in Parliament that will give private security force to arrest and search you anytime. Private security. So you know what that means? If a private American firm comes to Kenya, okay, wakipata deal, tuseme they've been hired by one of the parastatals, okay, they can arrest you and search you at any point. These are the implications of what they're doing. And part of that is the deal which comes with these loans by the IMF. This is part of the deal. This is part of the deal. Go read the book. I always tell, after the Bible, read this. Utaelewa shida za Kenya. Utaelewa. You'll be looking at these politicians and say, these are a bunch of jokers. But let me explain to you why Ruto is in this kind of pickle. Let me explain to you why Ruto is in this pickle. Him along with Uhuru Kenyatta. Before I even explain to you that, affordable house care. Let me, shabarabara. Are you ready for some information right now? Okay. Affordable healthcare, affordable housing, sorry. Let me explain to you. It first went to the High Court. Sinilienda kwa High Court. The High Court declared it to be unconstitutional. Sindio, that's number one. Wakasema, hakuna kitu, let's appeal. Waka appeal. Sindio, it went to the appellate court, okay? Wakasema nini, we'll give you 30 days, alafu tutakata hiyo story. Wakapima whether while they were still letting them to build, people were still against this affordable housing. There was outrage by the wananchi because it was, it was a heavy tax on the people. Okay, juzi likatwa last Friday, sindio? The appellate court said this thing is unconstitutional. They held up the decision by the High Court. Just like the High Court, the appellate court said this thing is unconstitutional. Guess what they're saying right now? What is Ruto saying and his minions, Ichungwa and all those pinheads that you see walking around Kenya? They're saying, Isitoshe, we are taking this to the Supreme Court. Now do you see why they're going to the... Do you know why they want to take this thing to the Supreme Court? Do you see where I'm going? I'll tell you why they are going to the Supreme Court now. Because they're saying that, because you can appeal and go up to the Supreme Court. Now, wakona pesa, most people don't get to the Supreme Court because they don't have wakona pesa. These are billionaires, okay? And they'll use taxpayers' money to bring it up. So do you know why they're going to the Supreme Court? Do you know why they're going to the Supreme Court? Somebody answer me. Do you know why they're going to the Supreme Court? I will help you. I see you're not listening. Let me help you why they're going to the Supreme Court. Before the decision was made, where it was declared that the affordable housing by the appellate court, before the decision was made that, where the ruling was made that it was unconstitutional, Ruto and Martha Koome had a date. They had a hot date. Martha Koome alivaa miniskirt, Ruto akavaa suti ya kutoka Italy. And they met at wapi? At the State House. Wetangula na ile kichwa yake ya kuuza bidhaa ilikuwa hapo. The corrupt Waiguru was also sitting there looking pretty with her billions, sitting there. Wakasema hebu tuongee. What do you think they were discussing? Siniminyi muliambiwa ati sijui watapatia, I'll appoint more 11 sijui judges and I'll give you more cars. Mkasema hii kitu, there's something fishy here. But it didn't stop there. The next day, we celebrated and we were like, Ruto have lost. The courts have pronounced itself against this affordable housing, which is unconstitutional, right? We can celebrate it to say Ruto have lost. Let me tell you something. They are moving up the Supreme Court because when you take the matter to the Supreme Court, guess who is going to rule on that matter? And the matter, when it's ruled upon, it will be final. You cannot go anywhere else. Once Supreme Court wakikata kesi, huwezi kwenda mahali. That's it. You cannot appeal anymore. You cannot do anything about it. The ruling is final. Hawezi kwenda huko sijui East African sijui Court of Justice. Hiyo ni upuzi. They don't have jurisdiction on matters to do with Kenya. Okay? They only have jurisdiction on treaties between two countries, not stories zetu. Ndio maana you see Nasir crying on Twitter and saying nothing. That's why Martha Karua lied to us. He's telling us, I'll go to East African Court of Justice to challenge this electoral petition. But unamwona hapo siku hizi amekaa na kula mandazi hapo na hiyo kofia yake ya nak. But anyway, the point is this. The plan from the get-go was to get this case on Martha Koome's lap table. Ndio Martha Koome because in Supreme Martha Koome is the Chief Justice. She's the head of the Supreme Court. And by the way, she's the head of the JSC too, Justice Service Commission, okay? But that's irrelevant. I'm just saying, the lower courts, the High Court and the Appellate Court, they ruled this thing to be unconstitutional. But Ruto does not want this to fall under the desk of the High Court of the Appellate Court because they are not compromised. Those people are not compromised. Those judges in the High Court and Appellate Court are not compromised. The judge that has been a compromise is the Chief Justice, who Martha Koome, and that's why he is taking that case to the Supreme Court, because she knows Martha Koome ndio atasimamia hii kesi, and Martha Koome already ashapata hiyo do yake hapo vile walikutana kwa hiyo date State House last week. Now you see why they met. Are you following? Because remember, before they rule, I told you guys we shouldn't be worried about the independence of the judiciary, because hii case is not on Martha Koome's desk, and whoever judge is going to rule on that case, affordable housing case, is not going to make their judgment based on the meeting between Martha Koome and William Ruto, because they will base them purely as to what the Constitution say about this issue, this whatever that's in their desk. But now that this case, they're fighting. You see the president. Ndio maana wanasema ati, we are still appealing. And the highest you can go is the Supreme Court. And that's why they want this case to be in the Supreme Court, because Martha Koome, Chief Justice Martha Koome, who had that meeting with the president, will be presiding over that case. And that's where the decision will be made. And most Kenyans will be very disappointed. Very disappointed. I told you Martha Koome is another. I told you this. I need to be a prophet. Ribo Shaba Baba. Are you listening to me? Hey, I need to be a prophet. I told you this lady is also compromised. She's influenced by the West, okay, by the Americans. Because when the finance bill was being passed, before it was passed, remember when people were debating about the finance bill, most Kenyans were like, this thing it has so much stuff, the housing levy, all this, whatever, hizo manini walikuwa naleta, hiyo fuel cost, VAT on fuel, hiyo mambo yote. People rejected this finance bill in its entirety. But while it was in court, when it was taken to the court at the Supreme Court, Megan Whitman, this failed politician who tried to run for governor in California but was found having undocumented workers, this former eBay CEO, who is now the Kenyan ambassador, US ambassador to Kenya, this lady made some pronouncements right before the day of judgment and said, before Martha Koome ruled, and said this finance bill will be beneficial to Kenyans. Why should a foreign government chime in on a matter that has nothing to do with them? Finance bill is a tax-paying measure. The permission the government wants is permission the government requests from the people in order to collect taxes. Why should a foreign government chime in on that matter? And indeed, after she made those pronouncements, Martha Koome alifanya nini? Akafanya hiyo kitu akaipitisha. She petitioned it. Okay? So, now you see, and Martha Koome has been making very, very unusual comments about, issues. Something that she, as Chief Justice, should not be making. Okay? She's always ako kwa hiyo laini na ninyo. Even the way she was appointed was questionable. Okay? So I'm telling you, I'm giving you an idea of how much the West has influence on Kenya. Africa is now changing. Okay, hey, I have so much to tell you today. Let me go on. That's number one. You need Martha Koome. So I just want to prepare you as a Kenyan to know that this affordable housing inaenda kupitishwa. Unaona yule sijui nani, it was his birthday day. That's Kangara, I don't know what's his name, was saying this thing itapitishwa. It's already in the parliament right now. Okay? They are going to petition. And this time they're taking it to Koome, as I said. Number two, I told you. Go read this Bible. This is the Bible of politics. If you want to understand, this man almost got killed. He is a former CIA guy, worked for IMF. He explained. If you read that book, you'll be saved politically, not spiritually. Politically, you'll be saved. You'll know. You'll see how this Wakina Martha Karua and they're all clowns. Okay, but anyway, let me go to the second part. Let me go to the second part. Okay, now when Ruto took government, Ruto alichukua usukani and he thought he could do something to help Kenya. That's why I'm saying he had good intentions. Remember when he gave that speech and said, stop keeping the dollar. Ukiwa na dollar, you are in trouble. The dollar is, according to the markets, the dollar is going to lose its value. And it's true. Worldwide right now, people are dumping the dollar. I can play you the clip. I made a video about that. Do you want me to play the clip? Do you want me to play the clip? You don't believe me. He said that. And in fact, the following week, I think he met the president of Iran. Iran, by the way, is about to go to war with the US. Biden says he's about to bomb Iran. But it's also interlinked. Don't think things are not related. It will affect Kenya too. But I'm getting you there. I am your political dietitian. Pay attention. Pay attention today. Pay attention. Because I want to help you as a Kenyan. Mwache kutupatupa mawe mkipiga makelele hapa sijui Raila sijui Ruto. Understand your problem, where the problem stems from. Okay, let's go to the next one. So remember when he said that week, he made those pronouncements. He said, kama uko na dola, jitayarishe. I would change it to another currency because it will lose its power, its strength. It will, because a lot of countries are dumping it. Okay. After that happened, he met the Iranian president. After he met the Iranian president, Ruto went ahead and came up with this G2G deal. I explained to you the reason of G2G deal. Most people were laughing at him saying, oh, he government to government in when he wanted to buy oil in shillings. There's a reason why he wanted to do that. It wasn't him being silly that he's clueless. No. It was going to be advantageous to Kenyans. But Megan Whitman again. Megan. Mnachezanga na Megan. Msimione huyo mwanamke amekaa hivyo. Shetani ibilisi kabuti. Mwangalie vizuri. Satan. Aya, ngoja. She made a pronouncement and say, no, don't do this. And the following week, there was an African summit in Russia that every African leader, most of the African leaders went, except Kenya. Ruto aliambiwa kaa chini hapa. The reason why I'm telling you all this, I'm going somewhere with this. I'm not just rambling and waffling and ranting, which I usually do, but there's a method to this madness. I'm trying to draw a picture to you, okay, to see how we are being ruled by the West. The taxes that we are paying, the privatization of the commodity companies, our parastatals, okay, maji, electricity, okay, all this, even our farming, our seeds, our God-given seeds, they want us to buy their seeds. That is the whole point this man was making. When you take these loans and you can't pay them, and they'll encourage, Ruto is keep on taking these loans. And these loans are being acquired illegally because Parliament has to approve these loans as per the Constitution. Tell me, when did you hear Parliament say we've approved Kenya to take 150, I don't know what billion loan? None of it. They haven't. They don't approve it. It's been taken illegally, but no one is speaking about that. Okay? But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is this. The reason why they do that is if you take these loans, they take control of your economy. They dictate your policies. They tell you, easy taxes that we are paying, the housing, affordable housing nonsense. These are all from private companies, Western companies, that has been approved by the IMF. IMF has their hands all over this. Your high tax. Remember what IMF said on Monday? They said if Kenya decides to renew on their loan, okay, on their loan, the consequences, the conditions in which the World Bank or IMF will put you through is enough to cause an uprising from the people, it will be unbearable. Basically, when I'm Ruto, if you dare default on this debt that we have, we shall make sure watakugeuka, because the conditions in which we shall allow this to happen will make it unbearable to the wananchi. You think it's bad right now? Or it can get worse. That's why you see Ruto is not even thinking about defaulting on this debt. Now, Jimmy Wanjigi offered us some answers. He told us, hey, listen, why can't we look through these debts and see which one were acquired legally, so that those people who acquired this illegal debt can be personally responsible for this? All that felt on deaf ears, because they know the people who stole this money don't want to. They're the people who actually have great influence in Kenya right now. Billionaires, dollar billionaires. These are not billionaires with Kenyan shillings. Dollar billionaires. Make sure you like this video, because I am going somewhere. Now I'm coming to the last part. How long have I been there? Okay. I'm going to a critical part that I want you to understand. I want you to understand some things. This is so important. Very, 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 very important. I want you to understand this. Okay? Now, we have established that we are being ruled indirectly through the Western governments, through the IMF and World Bank. It's not a secret. This has been happening. It's the oldest trick in the book. Okay? Now, how do we get out of there? How do we get out of there? Because our politicians are compromised, both opposition and both the ruling party, the ruling Ruto's government. How do we get out of it? I'll tell you how. But here is one thing I want to play you to also. There's another thing I want to play you. You know, in Africa right now, I tell you I'm a political nutritionist. In Africa right now, there's something that's happening that is scaring the West to death. Scaring them to death. It is what is happening through the Sahel nation. The Sahel nation, which one is this? What do I mean the Sahel nation? Let me just give you an example. Ibrahim Traore, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali. These three generals who have taken over the government. The previous regime that they took over through coup d'etat were Western puppets. They were French, and Americans ruled them, especially French. French were controlling them. They were pulling the same trick the Americans and British are pulling in Kenya. So one of the generals, who was in this case, I'll use Ibrahim Traore, removed the president through coup d'etat, and he sought the help of the French, of the Russians, Wagner, as we all know. Okay, and the Russians through Putin told them, "Hey, I will help you liberate your country, so you can take control of your Nino." There's a huge fight right now in Africa between the West and the East. Eastern Europe, okay? Let me just say Russia, okay? Russia and China and the US and the West are fighting over Africa, the control of Africa, okay? The resources and all that stuff, and partnership and all that business, okay? So you see, that's why we have this group called Bancroft, which is like Blackwater. It's a military mercenary group. It's an American one, okay? Then we have the Wagner, who have been making inroads in Africa, okay? Especially West Africa. So this is what's happening. Right now, the West, they are fortifying, they're strengthening, they're trying to tighten their grip on their colonial, on their colonies. For example, Kenya. Do you know what happened in Kenya last week? Let me play you some video. I'll show you. Because I told you their fear is a military coup d'etat on their puppets. A military coup d'etat arising to dethrone their puppets. That is their number one fear. And I'll tell you what happened in Kenya. Because, most people might be looking at Kenya and say, you know what? If Ruto gets worse, because people are not happy with Ruto, of course, and Raila Odinga is not an option, of course. So what will happen? The West are thinking, you know what? If things go bad, who can take over from Ruto? Military coup d'etat. right? Military coup, okay? But guess what happened in Kenya last week? Guess what happened? I'll show you what happened. I'll show you what happened. Let me play this to you so you can understand. You can understand. Let me help you. Let me help you. I'll help you right now. Pay attention. Pay attention as we go on. Pay attention. Are you paying attention? All right, let me play you this so you can understand why they're making sure Ruto ameshikwa kamatwa kabili. He cannot do anything. Let me show you. Let me show you right now. Okay, are you ready? Aya ndio hiyo video nacha nikuchezee. Let me see. Oh crap. Okay, I see it here. Aya ndio hiyo. All right. Let's take a look at this video and I'll play it right now. This happened just this week in Kenya. Hapa tu Kenya tu, si mahali pengine. Iko wapi? Where is it? It was Megan Whitman. Okay, here it is. Mnaiona? Can you see it? All right, let me play it. All right, here's the video.
I want to speak directly to you, the people of Kenya. Our ongoing collaboration transcends mere military cooperation. It reflects our mutual dedication to peace and prosperity. The resilience and strength you demonstrate are constant sources of our inspiration to us. Together, we are building a future that promises to be brighter and more secure for all of our communities. Let's continue to strengthen this bond of mutual respect and shared goals as we strive for a peaceful and prosperous future. Thank you.
You see who was that? Do you know who it was that? This was let me take this out. This was an American general who came and met with General Ogola. Okay? The general of Kenya met with the American general. Okay? And you saw Whitman posted that. They were talking about cooperation and working together and all this. Do you know why they're doing that? A country not too far from us is called Central African Republic, CAR. Okay? They kicked out the Americans and they're now working with the Russians to take over their resources and everything. The same thing the Burkina Faso people are doing. They're also, it is rumored they might be joining the Sahel agreement. You know, the Sahel countries are the three countries, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali, who took over their countries. It was through coup d'etat. And they kicked out the French. They took over their countries' resources and they're building their countries, okay? And they kicked out the West. They're doing everything. So Central Republic of Africa, African Republic, they're doing the same. They're kicking out the Americans and they're kicking out the French. Macron is in deep shit. But anyway, they're following suit. They're doing the same thing. And in this Sahel agreement, they agreed to cooperate, you know, military cooperation, economically too. Okay? They have a pact. So if one country is attacked, the other countries join in. Okay? And they're being helped by the Russians, the Wagner group. That's why they've stood the test. In fact, last week, a few days ago, Ibrahim, he survived another assassination attempt. Okay? 8 so far. But anyway, so the Central African Republic is doing the same. They're kicking out the Americans. They're kicking out the French. They're kicking out the British. They want control of their own resources. Central Africa, see mbali na Congo, it's not very far. That is a threat because now it's a cancer to the West. They're kicking off the Western governments and their forces, security forces and their armed forces that are based there. They're closing out, just like Burkina Faso, the Sahel, they're closing out the American bases. They're closing down the French bases, army bases, military bases. They're telling them, go home. We don't need your help. Okay? So when the Americans saw this, they sent a general in Kenya because they know in Kenya there's a growing discontent with Ruto growing. They're not worried about Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga is in their pockets. Raila Odinga ni mmoja wao. They're not worried about him. Raila Odinga is not a threat to anyone. He's part of the gang. That's why you'll see, and I've been telling you this here, Raila Odinga will join hands with Ruto pretty soon. Uliona Mudavadi akienda huko Bondo and said, I have some good news for you guys. I have good news. One day I already told us twice that they're getting ready for a new coalition. ODM will get into another new coalition soon because Kalonzo is leaving. Martha Karua is probably leaving. Don't buy into this PNU thing that they met here today. They are leaving. The coalition is going to be together very soon. But there's growing discontent among the Kenyan people, and an uprising is coming. And the West are scared to death because Russia and China, especially Russia, are making inroads in Africa. Most of African nations now are, especially the military, okay? The same thing happened in Sudan. Sudan is not far away. Why do you think Sudan is fighting right now? Because, one of their generals, was approached by the Americans. I mean, the Russians, actually, and another one was paid by the Americans, and that's Ikanza Vita, okay? So they know that Russia is making inroads in Africa, and Kenya is a strategic country within the Eastern Bloc of Africa. They can always use our military to go to Somali, use our military to help Ethiopians to beat Somali, help our military to go to Congo, help our military to... You see what I'm saying? Because the Uganda Museveni ameanza is against them now, okay? So they had to send this general to meet Ogola. Wampime kichwa angalia Ogola, are you still on board? We want to make sure you are still on board. Don't get any ideas now. Do not get any ideas, okay? Do not. And that's what's going on right now. That's the influence that the West have. So my reason for this video today is I want to help you understand, while we argue about Ruto, Raila, and Mandamano, whatever, understand where the root problem is. Otiende Omolo said it in 3 days ago. He was in the New York. Akasema, this government is heavily influenced by the Bretton Woods organizations, which is basically IMF and World Bank. It's not a secret. Babu Owino when he was talking in an interview, he said that, Ruto is a Western puppet. They understand this. They do understand it. What they might not understand is that on a larger scale, if they get to a more powerful position, they shall be approached by the same Western governments and tell them, hey, listen. And I'll tell you, as I wrap it up, I don't want to stay here for long. I'll tell you how Ruto and Kenyatta were taken by these Western governments, okay? During that case, kumbuka hawa wawili, okay? Hey, Mr. Goodyear, you are late to class, eh? You're tardy for class. But it's okay. It's okay. Today is siku kubwa. Najua ile mechi inafanyika. But anyway, when Ruto and Kenyatta went to the ICC, they were named the ICC. Remember, they were so adamant. They were like, we are going to run for president no matter what. Legally, they were not supposed to run for presidency. They could not start. They were not supposed. They did not pass Chapter 6. If you have a pending case, especially when you're facing charges of crimes against humanity, okay, you cannot run for president. Chapter 6 bars you from that. It was not even a matter of argument. But of course, Abdel Nasir Abdullahi, Grand Mullah, that fake lawyer, was the one beating the drums, telling them, watch out, waendelee. Naona umeanza uchokozi Goody ati Kenya Rebel, you should be having a red on. Naona umeanza uchokozi. We shall see you tomorrow when you've lost at Anfield 3-1. That's my prediction. But anyway, why did they keep on running for president? They were not supposed to run for president. Uhuru and Ruto were not supposed to run for president. They were not qualified. They could not. They were not supposed to, because they did not meet the Chapter 6 requirements. Chapter 6 of the Constitution, integrity. How watu na face they were not supposed to, but they were adamant. Okay, that's when the West actually helped them, approached them, and they were told, here is the deal, Mr. Ruto, Mr. Kenyatta, we shall let you run and you shall win through our help, because the same voting machines that we're using then, and if go look for yourself, I'm not going to tell you this. Oh, shoot, sorry, I just dropped my iPad. But anyway, the voting machines that were used then, crap, I'm just in a mess. The voting machines that were used then and the voting machines that were used even today, they have issues. Let me just say that. They have issues that can actually sway the elections, okay? Let me just say that, okay? But anyway, so the deal was, you will run, okay? Become the president, but they will be dangling this thing to you as long as you are implementing our policies. You'll be fine. It's all here. These people, the West, the economic hitman, they will go and make presidents, talk to them, bribe them, tell them, we'll give you 150 billion in loan. Out of that 150, where you can take whatever you want. We don't care. You can even take the whole of it. Okay? But this is what you have to do. You will let Oracle, as you can read Ruto say there, Oracle has to operate in Kenya. We shall put it there in Nairobi. Tutawajiri kazi hapo, a few people. Okay? We shall bring Coca-Cola. Hiyo drink zenu hizo za kienyeji wacheni. Coca-Cola will be the main drink of Kenya. They'll bring that hiyo kampuni ya nini Elon Musk inaitwaje? Whatever link, Skylink or whatever. Tutaileta Kenya, it will be the main one. Okay? We shall bring, yes, we good ya huku nipatie information yako, so how can I send it? And another thing, remember when Bill Gates came to Kenya 3 months after nani alikuja, akaenda akavisit huko Mutula Kilonzo, his Machakos huko. You remember that? That is part of the deal, okay? Buy our GMO seeds. They are quicker, they're more expensive, by the way. Wachaneni na hizo seeds zenu za kienyeji. That is the deal that they make. That's why you see I will before I log in, log off. That's why you see Ruto was advocating for the GMOs. Bill Gates is huge on genetically modification of these seeds, okay, worldwide. In fact, Europe has banned him. Italy just banned anything that has GMOs, Bill Gates included, okay? Russia banned it. Most of the European countries have banned GMOs. But Kenya, we accepted that. That is part of the deal. They tell you, they give you these loans, and they tell you, I don't care how you spend it. Ukitaka kuikula hiyo ni shauri yako. That's why you see Marco Menar spending 5 million on a shot or something like that. I don't know. I'm just giving an example, okay? But they don't care. You use that money as you wish, just as long as you let our companies operate in your country. And they're privatizing everything to give these Western corporations control over it. That's why you see KPLC with the Ndindi Nyoro is happening the way it's happening. Maji, everything will be private, everything. And that's why you see there's this something called devolution. They're taking advantage of this devolved system. I was listening to Gladys Wanga last night, and she mentioned something as some program where the West, the Americans, can help you in your development agenda. By the way, I think she has there'll be an economic something in Homa Bay. She announced on the 27th to 29th of February. Is it February? Yeah, February. But anyway, I was listening to her, and again, you can see the Americans, the West, are taking advantage of this devolved system, so they can come to your county and tell you as a governor, hey, listen, Mr. Governor. They'll find somebody as, not Gladys Wanga, but let me not use names, but yeah, they'll go to, and tell them, hey, listen, we are Microsoft. We want to build a huge company here. We shall pay, don't worry about how much we pay this, whatever, and the working conditions here. We are bringing you jobs. And we shall be happy. Somebody, the local governor will be like, yay, Microsoft imekuja, yay, Microsoft, tutafata kazi, to technologies, and the working conditions will be unbearable. The pay will be peanuts, okay? But the whole point is to monopolize any product that comes from the people. It will be made impossible for you guys to consume your own products. I'm just using Microsoft for an example, okay? But the product that shall be used, that will be produced by this Western corporation, is what will be made mandatory for you guys to buy. It's control, okay? Just like if there's gold today, like in Uganda, okay? They come there, they bring their mining machines, wanna fence off. That's what's happening in South Africa. In fact, that's the biggest problem in South Africa. South Africa is so rich in minerals, gold, and all that stuff. But who is mining the gold? Which companies are mining the gold? It's the Western Neo. Okay, it's the Western companies. That's why there was a law that was passed a few years ago that said that part of the profits that these corporations make should be given to the indigenous people. And there's an Italian company that took them to court and said, no, we are not going to do that. Go Google this investor state development quotes, I think. Yeah, that's what it's called. You can Google it and see the companies that have, private companies that have sued governments, and governments suing private companies, vice versa. This has been happening. Corporations are taking over sovereign nations. And that's the whole point of this book. Okay? I have another one. Where's the other one? That I haven't even finished. I've been so busy, I haven't finished anything. But that's the whole point. So while Ruto is taking all these loans, in return, he's giving away the country's sovereignty. And that's why I mentioned the bill that Kindiki wants to introduce in the parliament, of the private security forces being able to arrest and search you at any time, at any point. So these Western companies, the Bancroft, okay, these mercenary groups, they shall be acting as private security, okay, providing security. And they can kill you at will, and they can do whatever they want whenever they want, because that law protects them, okay? And in essence, what you're doing is you're giving up your sovereignty as a people, because if you cannot take control of what happens within your borders, then where's your sovereignty? We are no longer a sovereign nation. And this is what Kindiki wants to, and the President Ruto wants to pass in government. In fact, I think it was introduced today. Is it today or yesterday in the parliament that they want to debate about? So these are the things that are happening in Kenya. And it's not only in Kenya only. It is most in African countries. That's why you see countries like Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger have rejected the West and taken control of their own resources, security, and everything. Of course, with the help of the Russians, but still. Okay? So the solution, solution was to have a military coup d'etat. The Americans knows that. That's why you saw they brought that general to go meet Ogola and tell him, Ogola, don't have any idea. Don't. I hope you don't have any ideas. Usijaribu. Don't even try. Okay? But someone below Ogola can do that. He's not the only general, okay? Can do that. Because as it stands, politically, civilians are already controlled and being suppressed by Raila Odinga. That's why he's the head of the opposition. His job is to suppress every grassroots political revolutionary movement. His job is to keep them calm, control them. Okay? That's why there can never be a popular revolution. Every time we have something close to that, Raila takes over and tells us, Msijali, I'm going to talk there. Nimezungumza na sijui nani, tumesalimiana, everything is okay. Go back, I'll talk to him and I'll make everything sure is okay. I'll make sure everything is okay. And there's no change. He'll join government. Na mtanyamaza. So we are being every possible avenue that we can take to liberate Kenya has been sealed. We have a president who is a Western puppet. We have a opposition that's a Western puppet. We have the military that's a Western puppet. We are just left there. But we can still have a popular civilian revolution by taking our power back as a people. Look at the Constitution, because the Constitution is very clear. We are the sovereign people. Let's start by these fucking politicians. Start with your MCA. Start with your governor. Start with your MPs. These useless people who go to your parliament and not sponsor 0 bills in 5 years, then come back and tell us that the problem is that parliament is not working. We should start with them. Let's change these laws that actually make it hard for us to actually recall them. These laws that says that you have to wait 24 months before you can actually recall MP. These are the laws that we need to scrap, okay? Get rid of. So we can actually put people there who can actually advance the interests of the wananchi, not these pretenders that are shooting people on camera, not these pretenders that are slapping people on camera, not these pretenders that are killing each other and they're not doing anything, not these pretenders like the bullfighter who's killing Kizito, his caretaker for 20 years, who has been shagging his wife and pretending that the bull killed him. Not these pretenders like this. These fakers, we need to get rid of them. It is time. We can do something. The movement has to be something from the people, by the people. It is, we don't have to rely on these fake bastards like fucking Martha Karua, like freaking Raila Odinga, these fakers that has been there for 30 years who only look for themselves. These fakers who have never done anything for Kenya, like Kalonzo Musyoka. These fakers who have killed people for years, like Uhuru Kenyatta. There's something else that's getting on my nerves as I finish up. This whole idea of femicide bullcrap that people are now talking. All of a sudden, we now care about the killings of women. All of a sudden, we can have all this mandamano for the femicides, for the young women that are being killed in Airbnb. Let me tell you something, you fake fucks, okay? When people are being killed in Nakuru, okay, and Naivasha by Maina Njenga and Uhuru Kenyatta, I never saw you fake fucks like that People's Watchman, whatever his name, whatever Mwangi. This fucking pretender that always pretends that he's lookouts for people. These fucking pretenders. You saw them in the weekend when they chased away Esther Passaris. I salute you for chasing Esther Passaris. But all of you are fake. I'll tell you why you're fake. You people are paid by George Soros. I saw you with flags of LGBT and BBC and all that nonsense. You have a propaganda. You're trying to push that Batman in you on our little children. Okay? You're encouraging homosexuality within the African children. You're encouraging hizo tabia mbovu mtoka kwa wazungu. You are not there for the femicide. You don't care about the woman that died. You fakers. Let me ask you something. When the people were being shot down, Baby Mora was being killed. When Msando was being killed. Baby Mora, okay, was being shot. Okay, the people who are being slaughtered by Matiangi in Kisumu, the people who are being killed in Kiambaa. Why didn't you have a fucking protest to protest against the killings of those people? Why haven't you searched for justice for those people who are killed? Why are you not holding people like Uhuru Kenyatta to be taken to committee for the crimes against humanity that it cost the people of Kenya? Why didn't you go to and protest for that? But when a femicide, when a woman goes and meets somebody somewhere in Airbnb and gets killed, you are quick to go under mandamana with a flag of LGBT in the Nairobi CBD, thinking you are doing something. Well, people who fought for Kenya, who stood up against Uhuru Kenyatta were being killed. You never stood up, but you want to tell us about femicide. Some woman who went in the hotel and got killed and get killed, you feel sorry for her. But for the young men who are there fighting to liberate this country, you never said anything. You fucking fakers with that femicide bullshit. I'm telling you, we shall liberate Kenya. These fake fucks, we are tired of you. Raila Odinga, you need to hurry up and die. Ruto, you need to hurry up and die. Kenyatta, you need to hurry up and die. Martha Karua, you need to hurry up and die. I'll leave it there before I get mad. There's a match today I have to watch, so I leave it there. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, my name is Kenya Revolution. Go subscribe, like, share, comment, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace and blessing. I will see you later. I will see you